All right, y'all, let's break down the Trump trial and being taken to court and being cast out of New York for 3 years, which is the 3 days. And this is when he's going to rise up and be that new dawn of time and take his nation and all those other things, because he's being taken from a high place in the tri-state. He was cast out of the high place in Colorado, and then now on the northern side, kind of that northern army, is taking place with the truckers and them saying they're not going to deliver New York. But that's also Trump giving him a reason to move his shit from New York to somewhere else, all right, which is, hey, Texas or Dallas and stuff. They're saying that's the next New York and those things. But as these things come on, the old system has to collapse and the new has to come, and this is where the nation divides, and all different things are going to be lining up. So as the dawn has been taken to the cross starting on 3/18, and then he was hung up on the cross on 10/2, I think, when he was taken to court, and then the alarm sounded 10/4 over and out. And then you didn't hear that because the speaker blew the day before. And then the speaker 119 got in. And then the fucking Israel bombed. And everybody's still sleeping. Then the BRICS came out on 1/1, taking 50% of the world. 46, 50, whatever. And it's just going to trickle down. And they did a little time machine move after that. And then after they did the time machine move, we saw Hugh Hefner's death change, and different little things like that. Okay, so the little glitch in the matrix is going on. Now, Trump being taken to the court case, that's the day of the Lord, with the abomination of the day solution. And he comes out with a soul to sell everybody for his streets of gold with his shoes. And those are the high tops for the Most High, for that court date, for that marriage. The birth of one will lead to the birth of the other. And the Don Nation, the Don's nuts, the donuts, the fanny, the rump, the Trump, the Latita, the titty, tits and ass going on everywhere. The Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, that's replaying with that. As we're hitting that double 88. You're going to get your Mid-East war in America. And it's through that civil trial of Trump that's going to lead to that civil war in those ways. Okay? So, that court side, you can be on the left or the right, or you're going to actually be playing the fucking ball. You don't have to sit down. You don't have to take a court side. You can leave the arena. You can grab that fucking ball and start playing. You can act like a ref, put some white and black stripes on, go under that prison. You got a whistle? You got some gym shorts for that diamond ring setting, for that gym that's going to be passed around, for that short game? You have that wife beater on? That Travis, he's screaming at the coach, he's got to beat Taylor. Hit her too. That's in the Bible. It's a parable. It's an allegory. And the allegory for the allegory is coming. So Trump's body is taken, naked and shamed. 3/18, the 70 weeks of Daniel ends on 7/20/24, the same as the long count on the false prophet. The 42 months of your forbidden fruit, who lured you all in to take the vaccine nation. How could you be a sinner? Instead of salvation, you need to solve nation and figure out what the fuck is going on here. Because you're all being programmed. What are you being programmed? Well, you're being programmed to be the new Nazi regime, the new Hitler army. The redcoats are coming. The redcoats are here with the Republicans. And the Democrats, that's just another side of the flame, the ray of light and the day of light. The Democrat and the Republican. One operates on the heart, one operates on the mind. They conflict, they can create divides. Satan versus Jesus, Jesus versus Satan. All these things. So, Trump, the Adonia, that defines as Lord. So he is the Lord. The second coming of the Lord has been before all. You're in the mid-deal. That mid-deal's done. That Texas Hold'em game is being put on the table. That royal flush, those houses, pipes being passed around, it's getting cashed out, parties over, right? There's different parties going on. There are card games going on. There is bridge going on. All ages gather for Friday, Saturday, fun times, bingo. They're all ages. So there's 80-year-olds playing bridge. All kinds of parties, people. So all these things put away in the be as a child. Got to play these games in a big boy's perspective. And this is where you got the world stage, where the people who know the dark sentencing can see it and brought to light. That's where you get the miracles and all those things. But the Trump, the day of the dawn's wrath, the day of the Lord has been before all. And this is when it tells you to flee to those mountains. Those mountains are a spiritual mountain. Those mountains are getting ready for what's about to come in the cities. And look at things. Back to the Future Part 2. Gets out. Puts on his new lace-ups. That's the new fucking high tops. The new shoes that came out. And you're in the middle of Part 2 because it came out in 1989. And Elvis just turned 89. We're having some 88, 89, 85, 55 overloops and shit. And reverse those numbers as well. But those all connect us to the old time machine. And also 2015. And that's ties us to Trump and those types of things as well. But Biff Tannen is based on Trump. He steals the almanac in the future. So you're in that future where the almanac is stolen and America's going to be burned and such. And that's where you got the fire Biden coming out or whatever. We might see some crazy shit where, you know how you see the good guys or the bad guys sometimes or whatever. Shit's always blown up. And he comes walking out or whatever. Right? Stumbling out. You might see that kind of shit or something. Like with the West Wing or whatever they call it. This be that kind of CGI event. Either way. That would be more on the extreme level. But we are in those times where America is burned and we see the fire Biden coming out. He's had those glowing eyes and shit. So different things playing out on that side. And then you have him going to Palestine a year later after the toxic plume. So he's giving it time to clear out and shit. And this is kind of like a bio-warfare in a way too. So there's different levels of that kind of stuff. And then Ukraine's being talked about using bio-warfare. So then you got if you flip things a little bit, the hunt for Red October, the substance, these things can be played out to where May is your reverse October. to where we're shown something in the next month or so, and that will lead to May, the May Day event, and this will lead to like the March Madness and the Ape Real Fools. All right. So since that abomination of the day solution is happening in one way, all right, we can probably expect for another abomination of desolation to happen as the little rocket man, and this can tie into those Easter things with the balloons or whatever that were shown last year, and then Russia doing its space nuke or whatever. But all these things can go together for this spring break, and then that spring break for the dragon hatching open will lead to the dragon giving the power and stuff for the hell on earth for summertime, and all this fire and stuff's breaking open, the pipes are bursting with explosions, and that dam breaking for the atom. We see stuff going on in New York and those things, but this dam breaking and the waters that have been coming in the west or the east and such can overflow, and either way. So the extreme weather for those X times, and that's these times coming up. It's a little bit ahead, but it's been peaking out. But it's tornado season. Probably get those F5s or F4s in the downtown areas, and totally we're gonna have like those weather bombs, because this is where the armies of the world are kind of doing those types of bombs instead, because they can kind of manipulate the weather. Many facets to kind of overlook and put together, because we're at the time. All right, so one abomination to another abomination. The next abomination of the desolation would be where Michelle Obama comes in, and then you have like people like Taylor Swift or somebody coming in. That would be like the Obama. That would be the other O show. And then she had that interview with Oprah back whatever. But all these things will stack, and then that's where you have that real still for the popular vote, and that popular is that soda that everybody drinks on, for that wine of Babylon, for that sparkly, bubbly White Claw. So, you know, that abomination, the Little Rocket Man. Oh, Little Rocket Man for the spring break or whatever. These things lining up would lead to where, and then also you have the 3-on-3, where the 3 days is actually 3 months, and then 3 years on top of that, because his two sons or whatever, that's the left and the right, being cast down. All right, so then you have the Dark Dawn and the Eric for the America and the Ivanka and those types of things, and then you'll have the Jared Kushner, and that's the jar for the pickling going on, for that pickleball everybody's playing. And that's that dill pickle. All right, that dill pickle for that Texas Hold'em. Y'all just don't know you've been put in the old jar and heated, because the frogs don't jump out. So that spring break thing this year will lead to the big China and that big birth of that dragon giving its power and all that shit for next year. All right, and that's when the dragon would be cast down to the ground that I've told you about, and that SpaceX dragon and those things, and that dragon, SpaceX dragon, be cast down to the ground. That could be the other play on the Starlink stuff. We've mentioned that before. So the thing in this spring break would lead to the China Big Bang Theory in 2025 for that big Christmas spirit and those types of things feeding off the other, and then you'd have your big alphabet and those things. All right, so just remember, when Biden goes down, Kamala comes in, and these types of things, you're gonna have nation at its weak point. And I gotta end it here because of time, and I gotta go in and cut some hair.